Hi, beautiful souls. Take a breath with me for a moment. Because what we're talking about today isn't just another goal-setting conversation. This is about locking in. Locking in energetically. Locking in mentally. Locking in emotionally. And choosing, very deliberately, who you are becoming in 2026. We are standing at the edge of a new year, and whether you feel excited, tired, hopeful, or cautious, this moment matters more than you might think. Because right now, before resolutions, before planners, before vision boards, there is something quieter and more powerful asking for your attention. There is one thing that has been lingering in your mind. One thing you keep circling back to. One thing that won't quite let you go. One thing that keeps whispering, this matters. It might be something you want to build. Something you want to change. Something you want to heal. Something you want to become. And the invitation for 2026 is not to chase everything. It's to lock in on that one thing, and more importantly, to lock in on a belief about that thing that becomes your energetic home base. Because here's the truth Abraham Hicks teaches so beautifully: you don't get what you want. You get what you are aligned with. So this year isn't about forcing outcomes. It's about choosing a belief that naturally inspires you to move, to act, to show up, and to stay with it long enough for momentum to build. Let's talk about what it really means to lock in. Locking in doesn't mean obsession. It doesn't mean hustle. It doesn't mean pressure. Locking in means clarity. It means deciding, this matters to me now, and then letting your attention, your energy, and your assumptions follow that decision. Because energy flows where attention goes. That's not just a spiritual phrase, it's a measurable reality. In neuroscience, attention is literally the gatekeeper of neural wiring. The more you focus on something, the stronger those neural pathways become. Your brain says, oh, this is important. Let's prioritize this. Reticular activating systems kick in. You begin noticing opportunities, ideas, people, and resources that were always there, but invisible until your focus tuned into them. Abraham Hicks would call this alignment. Science calls it selective attention. The law of attraction calls it vibrational matching. Different language. Same truth. So as we step into 2026, I want you to ask yourself a powerful question, not 10 questions, not a long list, just one. What is the one thing I want to lock in on this year? Not because you lack anything now. Not because you need to fix yourself. But because expansion is natural, and this is the edge you're ready to grow into. Now here's where most people get tripped up. They choose a goal, but they don't choose a belief. They say, I want to lose weight. I want to build a business. I want to write the book. I want to heal my body. I want to feel financially secure. But under that desire lives a belief that quietly says, this will be hard. I'm bad at consistency. I always quit. It takes forever. People like me don't get that. And Abraham Hicks is very clear about this. Your dominant belief, not your stated desire, is what sets your point of attraction. So locking in for 2026 means choosing a belief on purpose. A belief that feels believable enough to live in. A belief that inspires action instead of resistance. A belief that becomes the lens through which you interpret everything that happens. For example, instead of saying, I will lose 30 pounds this year, you lock in on a belief like, my body responds quickly and positively when I treat it with consistency and care. Or instead of, I want to make more money, you lock in on, opportunities show up easily when I stay focused and willing. Do you feel the difference? One creates pressure. The other creates momentum. And this is where the law of assumption becomes your foundation. The law of assumption teaches that what you assume to be true, internally, emotionally, energetically, hardens into fact. You don't wait for evidence. You live as if the belief is already true. Not pretending. Not denying reality. but choosing your internal posture. Abraham Hicks would say you're setting your vibrational tone, and this is where intention setting and segment intending come in. Segment intending is one of the most practical and underrated tools Abraham teaches. It's simply deciding, before you enter a segment of your day, how you want to feel and what you want to focus on. Before a workout. Before a work session. Before a conversation. Before a meal. Before scrolling your phone. You're saying to the universe, this is who I'm being in this moment, and here's the magic. You don't have to intend the outcome. You intend the energy. For example, I intend to feel focused and capable during this work session. I intend to feel connected to my body during this walk. I intend to notice signs that I'm on the right path today. That last one is powerful. Because part of the fun, truly, part of the joy, is noticing when the signs start showing up. Abraham Hicks talks about this all the time. When you're aligned, the universe starts winking at you. You see repeating numbers. You overhear conversations that answer your questions. You meet people who say the exact thing you needed to hear. Ideas drop in effortlessly. And the moment you notice those signs and feel appreciation, your signal strengthens. Science backs this up too. When you experience positive emotion, gratitude, curiosity, appreciation, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, which increase motivation, learning, and pattern recognition. You literally become better at noticing opportunities. So when people say, it feels like everything just started lining up, it's not magic or coincidence, it's coherence. Now let's talk about the journey. Because locking in doesn't mean the path will be easy. It means the path will be worth staying on. Abraham Hicks reminds us that contrast is part of expansion. You don't come here to avoid challenge, you come here to grow through it. And here's the shift for 2026. Instead of asking, why is this hard? You ask, what is this strengthening in me? You learn to enjoy the journey, not because it's always comfortable, but because you're in alignment with who you're becoming. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from staying with something. From honoring your own word. From watching yourself show up again and again. And that satisfaction matters more than the end result, because it's the satisfaction that keeps the energy flowing. Let me share a story. There was a woman who wanted to lose weight, not because she hated her body, but because she wanted to feel strong, energized, and confident as she moved into a new chapter of life. She had tried diets before. She had tried programs. And they always started the same way, with force. This time, she did something different. She locked in on a belief. Not, I need to lose weight, but, my body is designed to thrive when I support it consistently. She didn't set a punishment-based goal. She set an identity-based assumption. Every day, she asked, what would someone who trusts their body do today? Sometimes that looked like a workout. Sometimes it looked like rest. Sometimes it looked like choosing nourishing food. Sometimes it looked like forgiving herself and continuing. And here's the key, she paid attention to the signs. When she felt lighter emotionally. When her energy improved. When her clothes fit differently. When people commented on her glow. Each sign reinforced the belief. And over time, the weight followed, not because she obsessed over it, but because alignment made the process sustainable. Science supports this too. Studies show that people who anchor behavior change to identity and belief, not willpower, are significantly more likely to maintain results long term. Habit formation research shows that consistency paired with positive reinforcement rewires behavior far more effectively than restriction and pressure. In other words, belief leads. Behavior follows. Now multiply that across any goal. Writing the book. Building the business. Healing the body. Strengthening relationships. Creating financial stability. Miracle stories don't come from sudden luck. They come from sustained alignment. People who meet their goals often say the same thing. It wasn't one big moment. It was a series of small decisions that added up. That's lock-in energy. That's choosing the belief again, even on days when motivation dips. Because motivation is emotional. Belief is structural. And belief shapes your perception, your actions, and your resilience. So for 2026, I invite you to simplify. Pick the one thing. Choose the belief. Set your intention daily. Notice the signs. Enjoy the journey. And when it feels hard, and it will at times, remember this: you're not behind. You're not failing. You're building momentum. Abraham Hicks says, you don't get it done all at once. You get into alignment, and then it unfolds. Let that be your mantra. Lock in, not with pressure, but with trust. Lock in, not because you need to prove anything, but because you're ready to experience what happens when you stay focused long enough for energy to compound. 2026 isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, consistent, willing. And if you do that, if you lock in on the belief and let attention lead the way, you won't just reach a goal. You'll become someone new along the way. And that, beautiful soul, is where the real magic lives. If this message resonated with you, let it anchor you. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And stay here with me as we walk into 2026, focused, aligned, and locked in. You are exactly where you need to be.